Hey,
Hi.
hey, Coach Bolu, my personal person.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
It's good
How
to be
is
here this
you?
morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, Mujentu.
How is life? How is Belgium?
Yeah, life is good. Belgium is treating me well. I cannot complain.
I
I'm grateful.
can see that you are looking beautiful as always. Okay, great. Yes. So, I know
What's
that you
up?
wanted conversations today, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. But before we dive into all of the other conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, I think maybe a good place to start the conversation is your book, right? You wrote about, people walking in freedom, right? I think one of the things I've always asked myself is, what does freedom really mean? You know, for a lot of people, they are actually not walking in freedom and they don't know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, what does freedom really mean? And when somebody's walking in freedom, right, through the lens from which you wrote your book, what exactly are you trying to, where are you trying to move people from and where are you trying to move people to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think the straight answer will be that I just want to move people from the place of hiding
Hmm.
into the light, into the
Okay,
light.
that's so big. Do you want to
Yes,
like,
yes. I know it's vague. I think it's just to help people understand that um, this word, everything about this word is about choice.
hmm,
So you have the power to choose to live free without having to please men. You have the power to um go for the right skill that you need to heal from whatever pain you know of your past. You have the power to say no. You have the power and to say yes. So you also have the power to remain in the dark. So everything is about the choice that we make. So I'm just trying to kind of like, the book seems to be like a wake up call for me to tell people that, say, I didn't know, I didn't realize that I actually have the power to step out of the darkness. I thought that was just, I didn't know that I have the power to rewrite my story. I thought that was just going to be it. Like, okay, I'm just going to be having pity party for the rest of my life. But when when Grace found me, it gave me that perspective, the new perspective, like it's a choice. Yes, those things in the past happened, yes. But you have a choice to forgive yourself. So there is power in it. You see, I have something I said the power of choice. So it's all about people knowing that there is, because sometimes if we don't know that there is another alternative or there is another option, we always think it's just this way. No, but there is another way. You see, a broad road and a narrow road. Mm-hmm. You see, it's just you saying, okay, you know what? The shit has happened, yes. But then what next? So I am also helping people to see, like, you said it, like, I my book stands as a case study to help people see that is your story that worse? You think your story is bad? You've not heard mine, and you've not heard other people. So when people start seeing that, oh my goodness, I don't care, went all through all of this, and then she's living her life like nothing ever happened. That was a choice. So freedom is a choice. That is just it. Slavery is also a choice.
hmm.
If you want to remain trapped, is a choice. But I'm just putting down, on the table for you choices that you have. It's not just one way, like, okay, this is how. So that's just it.
Mm, mm. I think that makes a lot of sense actually because one of the things I'm also a firm believer of is this concept of freedom. I always advocate for people, living the freedom-centered life, right? And for me, the first time I thought about the concept of people living a freedom-centered life is, from the fact that even God, the only thing that God gave man as a superpower, so to speak, is his freedom of choice, right? Now, as powerful as God is, he does not have control over the choice of a man, right? It can present facts before you, it can present data before you, it can nudge your heart, but at the end of the day, man ultimately reserves the right of whatever it is that they are going to do. And I always say to people that the lowest baseline or the lowest point anybody can, where they begin to live lesser than being human, is when they come to the point where they say, I don't have a choice. Because the only thing that makes you human is that you have a choice. So the moment you say that, I don't have a choice, then you are less human. You have given up your superpower. In fact, I say this way, that the people that suffer the most in life are the people that feel like they don't have a choice. And the truth of the matter is that there is never a time that you don't have a choice in this life. Never a time. The only problem is that based on experiences, based on learning, based on upbringing, there are certain things that you will never see, not because they are not there, but because you have not been trained to see them. So some people have eliminated certain choices, certain options from their lives, not because it is not there, but they by themselves eliminated it so that they'll be looking at it like they say, I can't see it. Why? Because of their experiences, because of their trauma, because of their pain, because of their learnings, because of their observation from their environment and all of those things. So for me, one day somebody asked me that, Bolu, when you say people should live the freedom-centered life, are you saying that people should behave anyhow? I said, no. Living the freedom-centered life is being able to say that I did it consciously. I did it deliberately. I was not influenced by any external factors. I saw the options in front of me. I studied the consequences. I looked at it vis-a-vis the goal I wanted to achieve. And then I did it consciously. When you are able to say that per time, and we can see that there is no external thing that is propelling you, then we can say that really and truly you are living a freedom-centered life. So, for example, if you don't understand the concept of God, but all that is propelling you to serve God is because of the consciousness of hellfire, then that is not a freedom-centered. A freedom-centered life is that I'm serving God because that's my choice. A lot of people say, why are you a Christian? No, because I was brought into it. They never at any point sat down to say, what is this thing about? Is this what I really want to do with my own life? And then come up to the point where they say, oh, yes, I know God personally. I have a relationship with him. This is my choice. I see a lot of people make decisions every day. Like, where's that coming from? They say, I don't know. In fact, I was listening to one very funny, analogy by one of the comedians in Nigeria, Ashiri, right? He was talking about the fact that when he was growing up, they had this blender in their house, right? When you turn the blender on, it will be vibrating and all of those things. So they have to put their hands on it to hold it down. I know those kind of blenders as well, right? So now, fast forward now that he's married, they bought this new blender, and then his wife was like, "Oh, please help us blend," and then he just put his hand on it, and he was like, "I leave this thing alone. Now it's not going anywhere." I was like, no, if you don't hold it down, the thing will be dancing around, And guess what? They was like, yo, It's not going anywhere. Leave this thing alone. Guess what? Even though he had the resources to buy something that is more sturdy, the behavior from the past is still reflective in the present. Right now, he would have thought that this decision to put the hand on the blender was a deliberate choice of his own. But guess what? That was not a deliberate choice of his own. That was a decision that was made for him many years ago through the lens of the things that he has gone through. So, what I think a lot of people really need to do if they want to start living in freedom is to begin to really audit all of their actions and ask, why do I act the way I act? Why do I believe the things that I believe? How come I am this kind of person and not that type of person? How come I'm making this type of decisions in my relationship and not that type of decision? You know, the more people ask these questions genuinely with curiosity, the more they can come to a place where they can say that these choices are my choice, and I'm fine with them. You know, so for me, that's what, you know, walking in freedom, living the freedom-centered life really looks like for me as a person, right? And it's something that I think everybody should really move into, right? I don't know if you want to say one or two things before we move to the next thing. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
so perfect, so perfect, perfect. Thank you, Coach Bolu, for that. Really makes sense. Really, really makes sense. I think one thing I want to add to that is, this morning I was just reflecting on, even myself, my journey, my love life, and all of that. And a thought came about there was this pastors, they were the one that officiated my wedding then. I met them at an event. And for a very long time, I always like put the blame on them because I thought that they were not sensitive. They could have actually helped me not to get married because I didn't want to, you see. So we do premarital counseling. I was not happy when I go there. So everybody always think that, Sister Aderonke, she's this iron woman, this buzzy. That's how they always see me like, but you see me come like, okay, like sit. And in counseling, there is always a separate session for intending couples, even when, yeah, they didn't have that. They were just going through mama. So I'm like, can't you see? I think just even call me. I just needed someone to just come like, sis, like, do you really want to do this? And I just want to talk. So when I saw them, it was some weeks back, and they were like, oh, I don't care. How are you? How is your husband? How are children? I know you have more than one, two, three now, and all of that. And then yes, have you seen pastor? I went to see the pastor. The pastor, I said, do you still remember me? I said, no, no. I said, it's wrong care. I said, oh, my daughter. So the woman was taking me around like, this is my daughter. Oh, this is my daughter. And I'm like, your daughter, how? The one that sent to marriage or what? So, and she said something. And then when they asked me again, and now they said, so how is your husband? How is family? I said, well, I'm separated. They said, never. No, 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 no. The wife said, no, nobody we joined together that's ever come back to tell us that they are breaking up, their marriage and all that. I just like it is man. I try to excuse myself. Then the thought came to mind today, this morning, that the pastors are not to be blamed. I don't care. You have a responsibility. They have played their own role, right? They believe that you like him, you wanted to be married to him. If you have issue with that relation, you go and tell them, see, oh, this and that. So they are not mind readers.
Absolutely.
They are human like you, the same way you did not go to them to tell them. It's the same way they also feel like maybe if they try to tell you that this is wrong, maybe you may not like it. So everybody, with the way with their thought process, right? And this is something we do, we blame others. Just like you're talking about taking inventory of our life patterns. Like, okay, what informed this decision? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I always say yes? Is it when I say yes, do I really mean yes? Like, is it a real yes or a no yes. You see? So, like, we blame other people as not us, except for ourselves. Like, we think that we do the right thing and all of that. And this thing also go with relationship. We blame the other person when they serve you breakfast. You see, you blame the other person, you blame your parent. We always like, but forgetting that we have the power to choose our own freedom. We have the power to choose our own route. You see, so it really makes sense, and I think this is something that also is helping me taking inventory. I didn't know how to do this until a friend of mine was now like, you know what, when we were talking about relationship, and they were like, I think you need to start taking your relationship like patterns, just look into the patterns. And I'm like, what? And truly, I try to like, just look away from that statement and all of that. But I took it serious, and when I started looking at the pattern, I'm like, I wrote, there's this exercise. So it's something I now give to people now, when we talk about relationship. I'm like, oh my goodness. So these were the choice you made. You chose to keep choosing the broken guys because you have refused to work on yourself. You are broken. You have issues and all that. So yes, everything about life, I think, just like you said, living a freedom-centered life. I love that. We have this book, a purpose-centered life. I really love this concept, huh? Coach Bolu of God. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Freedom-centered life. It makes sense. And when we come to that place, I think it will make, in fact, it will make our world more peaceful. You see, we will have, because when we are not healthy, I'm sorry, there's no way we can actually have this, environment that is also healthy. You see, everything we get to, become as adults, like the story you shared of this friend, with the blender thing, is things that we pick up, growing up, and
Absolutely.
it sticks. It
Yeah.
sticks there.
Yeah.
Your parents, you see the way they look, they do their own relationship life. You see, you get to, they don't even have to tell you. You see it. You see this eyes. You see it. So yes, thank you for that. So we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. I think one of the, like, of course, we've taken the conversation in different direction, and what I was thinking about is, which is one of the things I always tell my clients when they come to me, is that, everybody have a pattern. We all have it. I always say to them that, hey, you have a pattern for failure. You have a pattern for success. You have a pattern for getting angry. You have a pattern for getting excited. We have patterns for everything. And if you take time to check, you would be able to see what will happen that will then make you to take a decision. And then the next decision will make you take the next one. And then you would always fall on the same spot. It's almost like we're talking about the law of gravity, that whatever goes up must surely come down. The same thing is that we all have those patterns of producing specific results in our lives, right? And for a lot of people, when they look at their relationship life, for a lot of single people, especially, people that are now matured singles, right? What they would find out is that they have a pattern, right, of dating that doesn't necessarily translate to marriage, right? They have a pattern of dating that would ultimately lead to, breakfast. They have a pattern, right, of dating that would always translate to a particular. In fact, they have a pattern of picking a specific kind of person, right? And when they look at, no matter the profession, no matter the this, no matter the that, see, there are some ladies, because they were firstborns in their family, right? And they were raised to be the forefront in their house. They have a pattern of choosing guys that they can murder, right? They have been trained to be the mother in their house for a long time. So they are always looking for guys they can be on the lookout for, right? There are some ladies, they are maybe they were the only child, or they were raised in a very tough environment, that they are, they are like project managers. They have a pattern of looking for guys that are projects, right? And the moment they finish the project, the guy will go, because they have to go and look for another project. They don't know how to not date somebody that is not a project that they have to work on. So they look for a guy that is not there. They will monitor him, help him grow up. The moment the guy gets to a particular state of result, guess what? That relationship is going to collapse. Why? Because they themselves, they have this project management ideology when it comes to dating. We have ladies that are always looking for, tough love, because in their own life, they were made to believe that if love is not paining you, if love is not draining you, if they've had people that dealt with them a particular way, and those people always tell them that, oh, I'm doing this thing to you because I love you. So they have a pattern of looking for forceful people that when they don't see, they don't believe you love them, right? I remember working with a particular lady. She dated this guy that every time every time the guy was super abusive emotionally, physically. Every time this guy beat her, he would say to her that, you did something wrong and I had to, punish you, right? If, when things are done wrong, punishment must follow. And for one reason or the other, this lady believed it. So much so that even after the relationship was over, when she does something wrong, she'll find a way to punish herself. Right? So, for example, now if she's cooking and the food gets burnt, she can go on without food for the next 2 days. And when you ask her why, she say, oh, because I burnt food yesterday, I need to punish myself. Right? So, when we sit down to begin to look at the patterns, it's almost like when you say that it is insanity to keep doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different type of result. If we want to change our results and our outcomes, then we need to audit our patterns and then alter the pattern, because without altering it, you will continue to produce the same results. You know what? A lot of people, they desire the new, but they are always producing the old. Why? Because of what? Patterns. So, I know you love to talk about, people paying attention to their patterns. And you spoke about a particular tool that you used on yourself, and you have also used on a number of people. Do you want to speak more about that tool and how it works exactly?
Yes, because I was actually going to ask you to tell us how to how to quit the pattern. So, Mita,
Yeah,
I wanted
I
to
talk about it, but the tool
let
you
me. Okay, I will
particularly
share
use,
mine.
because
Okay, so
one of the first when it comes to dealing with anything is awareness. When awareness is not there, right, you cannot even begin to say you want to do anything. If you don't know there's a blemish on your face, you are not going to say, let me fix it. Right now, the tool you're talking about that helps people to discover the patterns can be a very good mirror through which people can come in contact with themselves, right? So that's why I wanted you to talk more about that tool. How does it work? Is it something that you can help people deploy, and all of those kind of things? So that somebody that is watching this can say, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I even need to administer that tool on myself to be able to identify, what my own patterns are, and then they can take it up from there. Yeah.
okay, so it's actually I tagged it mind detox, mind
Okay.
detox. So there are exercises, but one of the exercises is that I always ask people to there is a paper, for example, like paper like this. So we would put it into boxes, like demarcate them, and put down the names of everyone you dated in the past. Right then, if it is 10, 20, 15, it is,
What's the maximum number that somebody about to write on the paper for?
so and there is no, you write as long as many as you have in your storage. You see, so write out their names, right? And then the first question is like how you guys met. You see, where? because we need to go back to the foundation. Where people meet also matters, you see. So how did the relationship started? How long, so those are the questions then that we get to ask you and all of that. So each of these names, you write how you met this person, how you met this one, none of that. Then under this person's name, then you now write, oh, what do you like about this person? Then let me just a lot of questions. Then let me just fast forward to the last part. So in retrospect, right? So would you choose this person again? Like if you have the privilege of choosing someone out of all of these exes, these people, now they are not your ex, right? Or maybe you have current one that is giving you trouble, right? So which one? Most of the times, right, they don't want to pick, they have nobody to pick on that list. So now we want to go back to you. Why did you choose this person? Why did you choose this person? But which space were you, the estate is? Because most of the time is when you break up with one person, you are feeling lonely, you jump, another person came to give you attention, love, and all of that.
Relationship rebound.
God bless you. Yes. So then you see, everybody, we are all good people. That's what I always say. We're all good people. But when you do a good thing at the wrong time, it's we boomerang, right? It's gonna backfire. You see, timing matters. So then it's like us. That's why the fingers now we do it like this, but the rest of the fingers is pointing at us. So it is us. We always deal before we heal. We just pam, 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 and all of that. And then you tell them, come for counseling. They just want to go to one session and then expect that results should happen. You see, they don't want to do the work. And if you cannot do the work of a healthy relationship, you cannot get the results. So that is one of the things. And then you give people that, like, they have to, go through exercise. But most of the times, Coach Bolu, they don't finish their session. So we have all of them like that. They just the praying. Then most of them like, sis, just put me your prayers. You see, God would, So that is it from my whole head. But there is always, the session goes beyond like just the exercise. Like we also do, meditation and also a mindfulness session, because it's very, very important that we, and to detox the mind, they reflect on themselves. And another thing, this pattern, these exercises, what is also help, like sometimes we forget ourselves and we are chasing something like shadows. We are chasing relationship, we are chasing love, we are saying, I want to be married, I hate, and all of that. But while we were growing up as a child, we all have a dream. That was, that's your first love dream, what you want to become. But issues of life happened, and we just, people started telling you, you are good at this, you are good, and all of that. Then you kind of like lose yourself in the process. So that exercise helps you to go back, find that that little girl, that little boy again, reconnect, and then you guys should have a conversation. So yeah.
Makes sense. I think at the end of the day, everybody just needs to be able to, like I said earlier, without awareness, you cannot take action. So awareness is very powerful and very important when it comes to producing new results. So for me, for example, what I always do is, if there's a particular area of my life I notice that I'm not producing the kind of results that I've desired to produce, I'm sitting myself down to say, okay, you know what? How have you been dealing? There's something you said earlier that is quite powerful, right? You said, excuse me, please. You said, people are not healing before they deal, right? Most of the time, if I were to reverse that statement now, I'll just say, heal before you deal, yeah. So that at least you know that, oh, I'm in a good place right now. So back to me, I always say, when I'm not getting the desired result in a particular area, I'm asking myself, am I dealing in this area? What's my style of engagement? Am I engaging with life in this area? Am I engaging with people in this area? Right? And then I begin to ask myself questions. When I'm able to identify how I am dealing, then the question is, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? A lot of people need to be able to understand why they do what they do, right? So for some people, maybe back to one of the examples I gave, all that they are looking for is that their fulfillment in relationship is not the love that you have shown to them. Their fulfillment in a relationship is in how far they've helped you to grow, right? So they are not looking for love per se. They are looking for the next person to fix, right? Some people are also not looking for love per se, but they are looking for someone that will just carry their burden. You know, I wrote a book a while ago, Love Dynamics, right? I don't know if you saw it. So I think I wrote about a year ago. Yeah, Love Dynamics. I spoke about what is love and what love is not. Love and control. There are a lot of things I said in that book about, and I've come to realize that a lot of things that we interpret as love is BS, right? Is far from love. Somebody says that, oh, for example, right, you believe that your life's purpose is to climb Mount Everest, right? But because I am scared, then I stop you from climbing. And I say that is love. That is not love. That is crippling you. Love is supporting you. Love is saying, oh, you want to climb Mount Everest. How can I help you achieve it in a way that will be successful? Most of the time, people project their fear on their lover, on their partner, and they call it love. It is not love, right? A lot of people have this love thing misconstrued. It's almost like when you're talking about this concept of submission, right? Yes, the Bible spoke about women submitting, and a lot of guys have come to a place where they think that, oh, the test of my love or your love is to the extent to which you can submit to me. I don't necessarily see that way, because I understand essentially that before you came into a marriage, you were first an individual with a unique assignment and mandate from God, right? Now, what I'm supposed to then be able to do is to not destroy your individualism because of our unionism, right? I should be able to respect your personal assignment whilst we're trying to work together, right? A lot of people think love is control. Love is not control. Submission is not that I say sit down there and you sit down. In fact, one of the things I've come to realize is that a lot of people are sacrificed their God-given assignment on the altar of love and marriage.
Right.
Suddenly, because you are married, you say, no, I can't pursue that dream again. As what? So there's a need for us to even ask ourselves, to me, what is love? Do I really understand what it means? I wish I can grab a copy of that book now. I just spoke about a lot of things about what love is not. A lot of people don't understand what love is. I spoke about love and fear. I spoke about love and control. I spoke about love and abandonment. I spoke about love and a lot of things. So for example, a father, when he was younger, he played football, right? And then he broke his leg and he's limping up to today. Then suddenly his son says that I want to play football. And the father says, no, you cannot play football in my house. The father says, why? You ask the father, why are you doing this? They'll, because I love you. But it really and truly is that love. We did emotional series in my church in the month of April. And, a lot of people broke down in church, sharing their stories and all of those things. And guess what? They would always say, oh, I am going through this because my mom did this. I'm going through this because my dad, my mom, my dad, my mom, my dad. In one Sunday, I was just thinking about it, that if you were to ask these parents, they would tell you that all the things that these people are complain about were the things they did out of love. But how does love expression turn to damaging people? I'm saying that I'm doing this because I love you, but guess what? I damage you in the process. So is that really love?
Mm.
So we need to sit down and ask ourselves, what does love really mean? We always say this: when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. A lot of people don't understand what love means, and that is why it has been abused every day. That's why it's been abused every day. For me, I always think about it this way: that as a guy, and I learned this, I think I was in 100 level or 200 level. I heard this statement from Philandro Toye, actually. He said this way: that as a guy, you need to understand that your wife, your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend is a guardian, and you, the husband, the boyfriend, the partner, you are the gardener. Your job is to ensure that your garden is beautiful, right? Your job is to ensure that your garden is beautiful. The true test of love is that you are making the next person much more beautiful than when you met them, without compromising yourself in the process, right? I'm not going to become a bad person because of love, right? As I'm becoming better, you're also becoming better. That is the true testament of love. And the final thing I want to say, and I'm going to leave the final part of the conversation with you, is that without self-love, then nobody can truly love. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. So if I don't love myself, then I can't love my neighbor, because the same thing I'm doing to myself is what I'm also going to do to my neighbor, because that's my definition of self-love, right? Putting a lot of junks in your body is not love, even though people think that's self-love. Say, oh yeah, let me go and show myself love. And then I take myself to one restaurant, I pack myself full with food, and I think that's love. No, I think the concept of self-love starts from how we deal with our internal state, right? How much attention do I give to detoxing my mentality? How much attention did I give to my values? How much thought do I give to my beliefs? How much love? How much thought do I give to the things running me internally? When I begin to do all of that, then I can say that I truly love myself. And then from that place, I can really love other persons. I close it this way: you are not permitted to love until you start loving yourself. Over to you, Adironke, for your final words.
This is perfect. This is perfect. I don't think I have anything to add to that. But this I want to ask a special request. Just while you were talking about what love is not, I think it's very important that we know what that really is. So when we ask you have someone like, what do you want? Say, I don't know. Then okay, you don't know, right? What don't you want? If you know what you don't want, then you will know what you want. You see.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
we know what love is not, then we will
Mm.
understand what love truly is.
Mm.
And because if we come to that place of awareness, that place of understanding, I think it would foster that institution of marriage. It will help us. It is going to do us so much good. Then nobody is now going to be serving people's breakfast. You see, you won't now be in a marriage that you are just managing yourself there, like what will people say, all those kind of a thing. Like you will know, like you are truly free indeed, like hey, you have this peace of mind. So I would really want to request that we have a second session, and we'll be talking about the love dynamics. Is your book on Amazon?
No, I hosted it on Stella.
Okay. So okay, I would get it on Seller. So I would have to read it, and then we'll have the conversation, because I think we need to talk about what love is not. So because I don't know if you know Dr. Pastor Olumide Emmanuel in Nigeria, is this good love good and all that. So Pastor Olumide always talk about love is not enough. He wrote a book on that as well. And this is the statement people use as well, like, what? Love is not enough. And I also, as a person, when people tell me they love me, like lovers, right? Someone I'm in a relationship with and they say, I love you, I don't care. I say, thank you. And it's always like, maybe I do. I say, what I respond, like, I can say, I care about you. Because love for me, of course, is good, it should be a foundation, right? But then I'm like, how can you love me when you don't love yourself? Because that's how I say things, but they don't really understand. They always think that iron woman, this and that. No, it's not. I was able to get to this place of understanding that say you can't just say whatever you say you are loving. Maybe you are just it's a filial kind of love. What is it like? I love you, your shape. I love your face. I love the way you look, and all of that. So I think I would like to request that though we have a second session together, and let's talk about the love dynamics. If that's
no problem at all. That's no problem at all.
okay. Thank you very much. So what's your final to me? You have said your final to my audience. What do you have for me? What do you have for your girl? Oh, yeah.
You're doing an amazing work. I'll just say keep up the good work. And I'm sure that time, the light that you're trying to shine will shine bright. And a lot of people will come to a place of better understanding of these things. And indeed, people would begin to work in freedom. So don't give up on what you're doing. Keep up the good work. And in no time, it's going to speak, it's going to blow up, and it's going to become phenomenal to be reckoned with in the world. Yeah.
Amen.
Well done.
Amen. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I always celebrate you. It's I'm honored actually to always have you whenever I call and then you say yes. I'm honored. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I love you, right?
which type of are you talking about right now?
Agape with the love of God. Before your wife now come and look for my it's agape love. I love you.
All right.
I love you with the love of God. I love what you're doing. I love your mind. I love it. I love your brain. I just love the gift of God over your life and the
Thank
grace.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we'll catch up later soon and have
All
a
right.
blessed day.
Yeah, be good. Bye.
Bye. Bye.